Today's theme is the gift of heaven is life. Well, I'd like to talk about what is heaven first, because the gift of heaven, well, heaven really is our true state of being. It's our oneness with Spirit. In the Science of Mind glossary, in the textbook, the first thing it says after heaven is a state of happiness, because it's when we feel one not only with God, but with all life. So this gift that we get from our oneness with life is life itself, the ability to be that creative expression of Spirit. I want you to imagine for a moment that either you're holding a little baby, or you're looking at a little baby in a crib, or you get that energy of innocence and courage and aliveness that's there. And if you look at this little baby, I know when we look at the eyes of a young child, we see it's waiting to express life, to learn about what's around it, that it can know more and be more. It's filled with a zest for living, and that same zest is planted in us. If we look at that little baby, it's like Spirit looks at us as just a soul waiting to learn and grow and evolve into something more. That zest for living doesn't stop when you move out of childhood. We stop it sometimes because we get thoughts that make us limited and small. I shared a quote that I'd read from one of the articles by Ernest Holmes on our Friday message, and it's, "The God within me approves of me." You know, the life, the love, the goodness, all the qualities that are of God that are imbued in us approve of us right now. Any thoughts of unworthiness or insecurity or doubt are things we've made up. That zest for living is what we are here to do, to truly be alive and creative in this process of life. Well, I said that zest for living doesn't stop when you get out of childhood. And I got that line, zest for living, from an article in the August 1947 Science of Mind magazine. There was an article called Zest for Life, and it was the story of Anna Columbia Holmes and the story of her livingness, her vitality, and her love of religious science. Now, Anna Columbia Holmes was Ernest Holmes' mother, and she was 96 years old when she gave that interview. And it's said that she had this life force, this aliveness, this zest for living that was contagious. She was seen often around, and she wasn't only seen often, she was very active around the Institute for Religious Science, which Ernest Holmes, her youngest of 6 sons, 6 or 8, I can't remember. Her youngest of 8 sons, I was too much for me to handle to even think about that. Her youngest of 8 sons was Ernest, and he is the founder and dean. He was the founder and dean of the Institute of Religious Science. And people that saw her said her absolutely vibrant mind, her active leadership, and her deep concern and dedication for the welfare of others really reflected her love for this teaching, for her love of religious science. And in the article, as I said, she was 96 years old when she gave this article. She talks about her sons, her 8 sons. And these sons, as I said, Ernest was the youngest. 6 became teachers, 3 became ministers. There were 2 who earned their Phi Beta Kappa key, and 2 became missionaries, one locally and one in Japan. But she said she taught her sons, each and every one of them, about active faith, that they were to keep their faith in life alive. She said, fear is not allowed in your vocabulary. Omit fear. It doesn't exist in your mind or heart. Live with that active faith and keep alive the knowing that life is good, life is filled with possibilities, and we are here to experience life to the fullest. They asked her in this interview how she stayed young, and she said she stayed young by keeping her mind interested and by sharing what she knew in her heart, the goodness, the possibilities, the love that she felt. She kept herself young. So I'm going to ask you, I said before, if anything, insecurity, unworthiness, doubt, any of those feelings are creeping in, where inside of you does that God, that spirit in you, want to be more alive, to express more, without fear, without worry, just to express more? Just think about that. It could be in play, it could be in many different things. Here's what one thing that Anna Holmes wrote. She wrote this in 1927, and it became the foreword of Ernest Holmes' book, Your Spiritual Power. She said, life is a school which we all must attend. The same intelligence being in each person, each one of us, the same intelligence. It is the task and the high privilege of the individual to so develop their God-given powers that they shall not remain in kindergarten, but may, by practical use of the lessons learned in this grade, find the need of manifesting love, joy, harmony, peace, and poise, and go on to each advancing grade, ever increasing the understanding and the knowledge of the one that is in all, through all, and over all. To recognize that this thing called death shall be an open door from this grade on to the next plane, where we will continue to expand throughout all of eternity. Now that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Can you imagine being taught from a very young age about the openness and the possibility of life? Now, I stayed in kindergarten for 20 years, but it wasn't because I was stuck there. It's because I learned so much from the innocence and the beauty and the joy of life of those children. I learned more, I think, than they did, because I love just that openness to life. Now, in Robert Fulcrum's book, I didn't say all of this, but Anna Holmes suggests that we take the lessons learned in kindergarten and expand on them throughout our life. Fulcrum says, here are some lessons from kindergarten. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them, and clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. And know that warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some, think some, draw some, paint some, sing some, dance some, play and work every day, some. When you go into the world, watch out for traffic. Hold hands and stick together. Continually be aware of wonder. We get to take those things and let them grow in our own souls, that we can share them even in greater ways throughout our life. So I did some investigating today. How many of you are a little bit, well, I talked to you about my hug deprivation. How many of you are a little bit tired of not being able to go out and do things? We all are. There's a heaviness that's set into most people, or many people anyway. And I did a little research this week. I just asked some people, well, how is this experience affecting you? What do you think's going on? And I just listened. And everybody has so many different thoughts about where things are going, what they're doing. I mean, it was like, I said, oh my gosh, everybody's confused. Everybody wants an answer and is trying to fit the answer in somewhere. And I said, what's the message we need as a community to lift ourselves out of this unknowingness? What can we do? What can we do that we can lift ourselves up? And it's the title of the talk today, Life is a Gift. And every one of us is imbued with the qualities of spirit. Yes, we see confusion in the world because we've shut down or shut off to all the good that is coming to us. Ernest Holmes said, you can't open the gates of heaven if they're not open. You can't walk through them if they're not open. We need to open those gates. We need to raise up, level our thinking to higher thoughts, affirmative thoughts of goodness. Can you right now say, even in the midst of all that's going on, I love my life? Just say it. I love my life. I'm filled with goodness. I'm filled with goodness because you are impossibility. There's more that wants to be expressed through us. We're not in this body. We have a terrestrial body and a celestial soul. We're not in this body to see God because nobody has seen God in its fullness. We see the expressions of God. We are here to reveal God, to express light, to express spirit and goodness and beauty and joy. But when we're in confusion, we shut that down. Ignorance, coldness, unkindness, blame, that shuts the doors of heaven. Boom. Heaven doesn't shut them. Life always wants to give to us. Life is ever giving. We shut the doors by pulling our energy down so far. We're the builders of our own consciousness. Now, consciousness is our mental awareness, how we look at life. I want to share this one quote by Ernest Holmes. He says that harmony exists regardless of our experience. We don't change the reality of life, that life is good. There is harmony, peace, joy, love, abundance ever available. Life never changes because of our experiences. We change the truth of life by what we're thinking about it. I mean, if we look at life right now and say, everything right now is bad, nothing's good, it's all wrong, that's what we're going to be experiencing. But if we say, we're in this right now because we want to learn and grow, and there's something that wants to be known through us, there's something more, there's a new way of living that wants to be ushered in. Think how differently we'll live if we have that thought. If we build our consciousness instead of the blocks, like I said, the terrestrial body that is limited and finite. If we're building our blocks of consciousness through black, white, right, wrong, good, bad, all this, we're going to have a very, very weak foundation. But if we're building our consciousness, our mental awareness around life is good all the time, life is creating all the time, possibilities fill every moment all the time, we'll be creating a new kind of experience, not just for ourselves, but for the world. It was Chief Seattle, a very spiritual Native American, lived on the land, said, "The great web of life is not woven by humankind. Humankind is a thread, separate threads in the web of life. And what we do to ourselves, we do to all, because all are connected." So if we can start building our consciousness in that knowing that what we do to ourselves and think about ourselves, we're doing to all, we could lift ourselves up and say, I am worthy of all good because I am an expression of spirit. We can start thinking of ourselves as worthy beings here on purpose to make a difference. So that's going to be my call to action today for us, because this is Mother's Day and we're all called to give birth to something new, a new thought, a new idea. So if you take a look at your life and you see yourself judging it in certain ways, I haven't done this enough, I've done too much of this, stop it. And start realizing that everything here is leading you to this moment that you can make a new choice. We don't really create ourselves. We create by using this creative, potent energy of the divine mind of spirit that is all around us, in us, and through it. We use it together. We co-partner with spirit. We use that energy. Can you imagine the bigness of that energy that creates all of life, the universe, and everything in it? That's the energy we use to create through our thoughts, that we can create what we want right now. Doesn't matter how big or how small, but we are here to create in the affirmative. That's the word I want you to think of, the affirmative. It's not the size, it's not the quality, it's not if it's work or play or dance or sing or whatever it is. It's the affirmative energy that's emitted. Because the gift of life, it's not what it is, but how it makes us feel that's going to be if we are ushering in something new and making this a better world or not. We get to choose what we do with this thing called life. Now, I'd like to give you another quote by Mother Holmes, as she was affectionately called by most people, Mother Holmes, Anna Columbia Holmes. She said, "I believe the work being done at the Institute of Religious Science." I mean, imagine just how the pride she had in all of her sons, but her youngest in creating this institute that we are carrying on the legacy. "I believe the work being done at the Institute by those who are keeping in mind this passage from Paul in the Bible when he says, 'Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things.'" And she said, this is of supreme importance to the world right now. This simple thing, if we just think of things that are good and right and true, we can make this world a better place. So just as I close today, just close your eyes. Wherever you are, even if you're home, just close your eyes. Trust me, close your eyes. And let's just join together in knowing this fact right here and now, that life is good all the time, that we are here to express that goodness in many different forms and different creative outlets through ourselves. We are here to reveal Spirit in joyous ways and move through the painful times with greater understanding, greater learning, greater knowing, that we may lead ourselves to these gates of heaven as we open up our hearts and our minds to a greater bowl of acceptance, a greater room for accepting the goodness that's willingly being given. The giver and the receiver together create and expand the energy, the light, the goodness in this world to make this a world of love, peace, harmony, goodness in our own souls right here and now. I know each and every one of us want to leave this world a better place right now. And this is the moment, right here, right now, this moment, a place to expand our mind and hearts, to do our best, to see the goodness, to accept the light, and to live the truth that we are here by divine inheritance. It is our divine right to live well, to be loved, to give love, to share light, to be light and know the truth. We are in this together. How blessed it is to know this, to share it, to see it, to feel it. I say thank you, God, for this wisdom right here and right now. And we seal this together by saying, and so it is. Let this be our Sunday best.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Good morning. It's Karen Crilly here to say hello and to wish all the mothers in the audience a happy Mother's Day. And to tell you, each one of you, I'm missing you so much. Since it's Mother's Day, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my mother. My mother was truly an amazing person and a trendsetter. She divorced my father when I was a baby during the Great Depression, and she had 4 other children to raise at the same time. So I just was so blessed to have her, and I'm so grateful that I had her to teach me what she knew. She was a Christian Scientist, so she believed in metaphysical understanding, and she understood that joy and happiness come from within and from one's beliefs. And so this has always been a very strong point for me. Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day to all the congregation, and to my wife and mother and my children. About 20 years ago, my mother sent a couple of bulbs out to us of amaryllis. And we planted those bulbs, and we divided them a couple times, and this year I didn't divide them, as you can see, but every Mother's Day I get a reminder from her, from heaven, that hey, life is beautiful.
The greatest joy that I have from being a mother is first to thank my own mother, Evelyn Fitzgerald. Her philosophy was, love is the answer. And in raising my two daughters, to hold them and be there for them and to love them no matter what the situation was always to me the most important. And now to see my own daughter Janine with her 3 children being the best mom and making me a grandmother, that is the ultimate best.
Hello neighbors. It certainly is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, especially here in Laguna Beach. It's Mother's Day 2020, and I want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. And not only the actual mothers, but the surrogate mothers who take care of all of our kids, like grandmothers, aunts, and just people that step up to take care of everybody. Have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the InSpirit moms. Love you all.
Our beauty shop has been shut down.
And no fun road trips out of town.
We canceled our Alaskan cruise.
Ain't you got me no good news?
Yes, now there's time for baking cookies.
And maybe time for playing nookies?
Oh my goodness, darling dear.
We're in together. I won't fear.
We'll learn to live another way.
Then, till then, it's just inside we'll stay.
Until together we can play.
We wish you happy Mother's Day. And so it is.
Happy Mother's Day. What a wonderful opportunity to share how blessed I am to have had a wonderful, wonderful mother who left way too early, and a wonderful mother-in-law who welcomed me as another daughter. Both were on a spiritual journey and enriched my life in ways that I'm still learning about. So I wish you all a happy, happy, blessed Mother's Day. Can't wait to see you all. Bye for now.
Happy Mother's Day, InSpirit. I've been blessed to be a mother myself, a biological mother, and I'm a bonus mom. And I am so blessed that I've been part of this spiritual community for a long time. Sandy gave birth to this community 21 years ago. So bringing life into this world is such a blessing, and I thank Sandy and Kirk for this vision, for giving birth to this amazing community. I know being a mother, there's nothing better for me than being a mother. What a gift and a legacy to leave. So thank you, Sandy and Kirk, and happy birthday InSpirit, and happy Mother's Day.
So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be